Hello again, it's Allison here in the Beatrice workshop. Today we're here with another form tour. You're going to meet Linda, and she's ready to take her sewing from just getting the fit right to designing and draping her own garments that really fit her proportion and are made just for her. Let's get started. So over 10 years ago, Linda made a duct tape form of herself. And I know a lot of you out there have attempted this. I actually made a paper tape form many years ago as well. And it was a huge eye-opener for Linda. She found out about how useful it is for fitting and just really discovering how patterns were relating to her body. Then later on, she's like, hey, I would really like a pinnable form, as a lot of us do after experimenting with duct tape. And she realized that padding out a standard form wasn't going to work in her case because she is of shorter stature. And that means that, proportions may not line up exactly with a padded form. And then the other thing is she does have some asymmetry. By the way, we all have asymmetries. So this is not unique to Linda, but she was aware of that and she wanted to have those in her form to work with that in her sewing and design. That's why she came to Beatrice Forms, so that we can make a 3D scan form for her. The other reason that having a true body double was really important to Linda is because she wants to work in the 3D. And she told us that when she takes photos of herself in garments, that can only get her so far in assessing fit. So instead, now she'll have this body double to really see what is happening with that garment, how the fit is working out, and then also looking at proportion, because proportion is something that is really hard to imagine in your head without it actually being on the physical form. It's incredible how much having the arms on the form help you to assess proportion and how you divide the body, either with color blocking or seams or other design features, how those interplay. So anyway, she'll have all of that, and that will do a lot more than just photos. I wanted to share with you some features of Linda's form that I am particularly excited about. This was a really fun form to work on. I got to do another seamless front with a zipper in the crotch. So it is, it's in the inseam. So hopefully it won't get in the way of the visual or the pinning, which is really nice. And I'm really excited to see what Linda does, especially with pants, having that bifurcation. The other thing is I had to draft, and I do this every time, but especially on our Beatrice Plus forms, I draft a one-of-a-kind pattern for each one and then sew it up. So this one, I'm so proud to say I got it on the very first go. I'm getting the hang of it. We're several forms in now to the Beatrice Plus model. But what's interesting is now that I don't have any seams on the front, in the back, I have the waist seam, and I've pinned this down because very occasionally people will have a concave section of their body that it's difficult to get the ponte knit to really suck in. And so Linda, I don't know if you can see her shape, but she has a very abrupt change from her waist as you move down lower in the body. So this, by the way, having a 3D scan form with your body architecture is going to be so helpful for Linda when she's designing jackets, when she's designing blouses and shirts, because as you can see, the architecture here, she does not have very prominent shoulder blades. And so the fabric, as it drapes down, is going to hit the body right here. It's very obvious that's going to happen. It's just something that, it's not a problem. It's just you need to know this about your body's architecture. It's very hard to see what's going on in the back. If you're, raising your hand to hold a mirror, to look into another mirror, that can distort things. So Linda won't have that problem. She'll be able to assess that when she drapes and fits directly on this form. So this form had a longer crotch length. So what I had to do was accommodate that in my bottom pattern. And actually, I'm going to take this opportunity to show you the pattern, and you can see all of the calculations that I do from measurements in order to draft this custom pattern to fit the form exactly, to fit Linda's shape. So I'm very happy with how that turned out. What does Linda have planned when she first gets her Beatrice? Well, she told us that the first thing that she's going to do is put her existing garments and slopers on the form and see what's going on. That is a very smart idea because she'll be able to kind of assess how the garments look on the form as compared to her moving, living human body, because it's different. It doesn't matter what form you get, even if you get a 3D scan form that's exactly your shape, things settle in and have the way they look on your body's tissues as opposed to a piece of foam that's cut in your exact shape. So she's going to check that out first and kind of assess ease. So what does ease look like on the form as compared to on her body? I think that's a very, very good exercise, and I always advise all our clients to do that. The second thing Linda's doing is making a new set of slopers and a new moulange. She'll probably start with the moulange first. That, if you're not familiar, that is a draped on created pattern that fits the body exactly like a glove. So moulange fits like a glove. And you can use that base moulange pattern to generate your slopers by adding in the ease, whether that is style ease or fitting ease. That's a whole nother topic that I can't go into right now, but very, very important. The next thing Linda is going to do is take some vintage Madame Grès and Vionnet patterns. I mean, these are fashion designer greats that are known for, the really soft, flowing, draped designs on the bias. She's going to take those and put them, work with them on her Beatrice form to do the grading and then do some fitting, okay? So that is really exciting because that's something that I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned in any of my videos, is that, if you're having some trouble grading patterns, because the thing is there are standard rules for grading, but, that doesn't apply to real human beings because fitting and grading are related. So if you actually have a 3D scan form, like a Beatrice form, you can actually do those. They're basically alterations on the form and then get the look that you're going for, right? Because, especially with the bias, especially with these flowy, soft looks, taking fabric to form is really, I think, the only way to achieve that look that you're really going for. So I'm excited for her. Can't wait to see it, Linda. Please share it with us when you're done. So when Linda gets her Beatrice form, one of the things that she mentioned that she was most excited to do is to drape on her mini me. Oh my gosh, look how cute this is. I'm so happy with how this turned out. She's really excited because she can now drape on half scale, meaning that she's going to use a quarter of the materials. She can go twice as fast because the seams are half the length, and then she can get a really good idea of proportion and how the garment actually works with her shape. And the other thing that I always like to mention when we're talking about half scale is that you can work and look at the composition within arm's length. When you're working on a full scale form, you typically need to either look in a mirror far away or step back to really assess how the composition is coming along. You can't see it very well when you're in arm's length. Whereas this size, you can see it in your field of vision and still be able to have your hands touching it and manipulating fabric. So that is a super huge advantage when it comes to working quickly and really getting a sense of how your design is coming along. Another thing I wanted to point out, since I have a mini here with me today, is the fact that we don't include the bifurcation if we make a Beatrice Mini from a Beatrice Plus scan. And that's because there's no way we could meet the price point that makes this attractive. Because when we made a mini Beatrice with the legs, it took us longer than the full scale Beatrice with the bifurcation, with the legs. So there was just no way that we could make that product work for an affordable price. And the other thing is, since Linda ordered all of this together at the same time, we're able to give her a $50 discount on the mini, which is nice. Well, that wraps up this form tour. Thanks again to Linda for giving us permission to share her forms. I really think these turned out beautifully. I'm so excited to get these to her, and I can't wait to see what she makes. Until next time, bye-bye.